He's been an award-winning media personality and producer. As a speaker, he's empowered over 1 million people from the stage. Now one of the leading business coaches and brand experts is taking over the world of on-demand audio. It's the Business Bully Podcast. Now here's the business bully himself, Dave Anderson.
So sorry it has taken me so long to give you new episodes. I'm about to bombard you with content, and I know I say that all the time, but if you only knew what it meant to run so many businesses and make this situation happen. And unlike my homeboy Gary Vee, I don't have like 50 people working on one thing. It's me and a handful of other folks. And so we're trying to get you as much really awesome content as humanly possible. This interview right here I did with Rizza Islam. If you're not familiar with him, he is a amazing guy. He's a community activist. He has a phenomenal story. He's done everything you can think of. Huge member of the Nation of Islam, good friend of Nipsey Hussle. And so we talk about so much, and you can check him out right now if you get your tickets to BullyCon. So make sure you listen to this interview, then go over to bullycon.info and check out everything. This is a phenomenal interview, completely raw and uncut. So check it out right here.
May I present? It's time for another Business Bully exclusive interview.
So, of course, right here, the Business Bully Podcast, we have all different types of individuals who are making a difference in the community and especially in the business world. And my brother Rizza Islam is no different. This man, if you've seen him anywhere, you've seen him everywhere. Like, this man's social media is on fire. His usage of a cell phone and different camera angles is sickening. I'm a big fan of the meme usage, as well as his take on things, because a lot of times, and I really want to talk about this out the gate, a lot of times people divorce their blackness for the sake of a dollar. And
correct.
I think that is the dumbest thing anybody can do. And this brother puts his blackness on front and center. When Nipsey Hussle was killed, this man was one of the first people out at Marathon, and he had on a tie and handkerchief set that was both red and blue in bandana style to let you know that there is unity and that we need to come together. So without any further ado, this young man is just, he's a messenger of God. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what religion you subscribe to. This man is doing God's work. So Rizza Islam, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
My brother, I'm truly honored. And that was by far one of the best intros I've ever been humble enough to receive. So I truly appreciate your words, brother, as well as your passion, your platform, and all the work that you're doing, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's between 45 to 50 million of us here in America. And there is no shortage of work, but there is a shortage of help. So I truly appreciate you for being one of those brothers who stands up to do something, because we need a whole lot more people doing something. And you absolutely are one of those. So I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you. So let's talk about it, man. Like, first of all, this has just been a hectic week, and we're going to get to the Nipsey thing, in a minute. But I really want to talk about this notion, because I get this a lot as a business coach, author, speaker. People want to come and say, well, Mr. Anderson, I don't... Should I tell people I'm a black business? Because you know what people say about black businesses. Should I put a white face on my business? What should I do? You know what I'm saying? Because people think that black businesses are janky. To that you say what?
One, it is lit to be black in the business world. I'll say that because they understand that we have over $1 trillion in spending power thoroughly, and everyone milks us for their brand. They take our money happily. They know whose face is on that money, and that is perfectly okay with them. But as it pertains to having a black-owned business, as of right now, brother, not only is it trendy to be black, but it's trending for black businesses, for black musical artists, for black actors, activists, athletes, etc. So white people are actually becoming very, very, very fond, again, of black people being themselves. They truly are. And so much so to where our influence over them is extremely, I would say, viral. You can say, meaning it's infectious. They love seeing us in our dashikis. They love seeing us with our beards or with our straight cut, but with us wearing our shea butter. And they love the body oils or the clothing or the business apparatuses or company. They just love it. They love our genius. They love it. And so if we start to understand that and start to embrace it rather than divorcing it because of some individuals who made it seem as though it's more advantageous to have a Caucasian's face rather than the black face, then I think we'll make a lot more progress, possibly overnight, as it pertains to business.
So what do you think? I mean, you go back, I don't know, I'm 41. So if you go back slightly before I was born, let's start like 65, 68, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black folks, even though we had, communities and we had, businesses, there was still a level of self-hate. I, in my professional and personal opinion, feel like the self-hate is worse now. And so with the fact that we don't really own our media, when we don't own our imaging, when we get signed to a record company that is not, that does not allow us to control the means of production, where we have to fight for our masters, when there's only, one Black man lead in Hollywood, one Black comedian in Hollywood, one dramatic actor or female actress or actor who is a female in Hollywood who could be on at one time. How do we quote unquote overcome, when we're still playing in that system? What is the solution to A, combat self-hate, and B, be truly independent while still being American?
Beautiful questions. Number one, we have to stop being afraid of being who we truly are. It's the first thing. Two, the way that we overcome that fear is by gaining a thorough knowledge of self, meaning, do you really know who you are? Do you actually know? Because most of our people don't know. They hear it, oh, kings and queens. Okay, but do you know? Name two of those kings from back then. Name two of those queens. Okay, actually, how much money did they own? How much wealth did they have? Do you really understand what kingdoms, buildings that they own? Do you know what was there? Do you understand what blood runs through your veins? Do you understand that? And two, do you truly understand that you can accomplish the same, if not more, in today's time? So self-hatred is very high, but so is opportunity. And because of that, we have to look at the examples who are living it and taking advantage of it the most today. That's the main thing we have to do, is look at the examples. When people say, oh, man, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I should do this. Okay, point at some of the people who are being successful while being Black and being prideful about being Black and attributing their success to being Black. We have to make sure we point out those examples. Sister Lupita Nyong'o, the actress, she loves being an African woman. And she don't back down from that, not one iota, brother. She stands on that. She's one of the biggest celebrities now. One of the biggest, and by being as dark as she is. And Hollywood is loving it. They like, bring that dark chocolate woman, bring her up here. They love it. So we have to start looking at, okay, Chadwick Boseman and our brother Michael B. Jordan, just really look at this and say, wow, they're being successful and they're embracing their Blackness. And they still have a job. Interesting. See, so we have to just point out all the examples who are still surviving, I would say, in Hollywood's world while maintaining their Blackness, and also point out the examples of those who are saying, I'm Black and I want to build things for Black people, and notice what white people and what main companies are helping them to build their own. See, we have to grab the facts and point it over there. Facts, point it over here and say, listen, you can do this. Stop being so damn afraid. Because the only people who are afraid, really, of those of us who are prideful of being Black are those who benefit from our degradation. And I mean thoroughly benefit from our degradation and thoroughly benefit from us not knowing who we are. So if you see, the majority of those in Hollywood are businessmen and businesswomen. They look at the amount of money that they can get at the end of the day. And if you can make them 10 million by calling yourself Black and promoting Black-owned businesses and promoting Black this, and they can get a $10 million check, hey, talk about being Black all day. What was your name? James, Tyrone, Keisha, do you think? Because right now it's about survival for them. These white folks in Hollywood and these Jews, it's about money for them. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about now. That's what it's moving into. And so we have to take full advantage of this and get together with those who are already doing it, who are like-minded, successful, and who are not backing down.
Absolutely. So for those people who do not know you, this is kind of a long question, but I'm going to make it as brief as I can. Tell people how you got to this point, because a lot of times there are people who become activists who just pop out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, you find out that they're backed by men, and you know what I'm saying? And and there are people who will say, because I get this all the time, oh, you came out of nowhere. I'm like, yo, I started my career at 9 years old. This ain't nowhere, bro.
Come on, bro.
So
you came out of nowhere,
right? Like, I've been here. Like, where are you?
Right.
So were you born in the nation? Like, how did you get to this point? And what happened to you whereas though things began to click and you've amassed a following and been able to grow the way you have?
Beautiful question, brother. Number one, I have been in my community actively working, fighting for the people, helping people to read, write, get off of drugs, get their children back, get off probation, etc. since I was 12 years old. 12 years old. Since 2002. I'm 29 now. I just turned 29 about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate that, brother. So that's the first thing. I was born in the Nation of Islam through my stepfather, born at Mosque 54, Compton, California. And I was born and active up until about the age of 4, maybe 5 years young. And when my stepfather was arrested and taken to prison, he was the foundation of the family. We were praying every morning. I prayed in Arabic to the east every morning on the rug, etc. And when he was arrested and taken from the family collapsed. People got on drugs. People joined gangs. Some of my family moved out of state. And, my sister was on Skid Row on crack cocaine for 20 years from that point for 20 years. Brother, two of my brothers, one of my brothers got murdered by his own friend in a crack deal, over a crack deal. And my other brother went to prison. Then another one of my brothers went to prison. This all happened, brother, within, I'd say, the 5 to 7 years right after our stepfather was arrested. So I wasn't active in the nation after about the age of 4 or 5. That's between 1994, 1995. I wasn't active, and I did not become active again until the age of 24, between 24, 25. Okay, so that's like a brief synopsis. But before I was active in the street heavily in the nation, I was active in the street long before that, primarily through a company or a nonprofit known as the World Literacy Crusade. And I was there as a tutor. I was working, as I said, 12 years old. I was a tutor, tutoring adults, Bloods, Crips, Cholos from different hoods, people on probation, people just came out of prison, people on drugs, all these different things. I was doing this since I was 12 years old. This was right here in Compton at 3209 North Alameda. It's no longer there, but that is where I was for over 14 years of my life. And that is, so I've been in the community, working in the schools, teaching in the schools, being in all different hoods, going down to Skid Row, feeding the homeless, getting people jobs, getting people, as I said, off of probation, helping them to get their children back in the court system. Brother, this has been my life this entire time since I was 12 years old. And to answer your question regarding the social media following, when I became active back in the Nation of Islam around 24, 25 years of age, I had a Facebook at the time, and I believe I got an Instagram in 2015. I believe it was 2014/2015. And I had just uploaded the pictures of me being in the community whenever I would upload. And that's Instagram, Facebook, etc. So by this time now, my first boom in social media presence heavily was when myself, on behalf of Minister Tony, who was the Western Regional Representative of Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, I was commissioned by him to help to get Snoop Dogg in the game and help them to unite the Bloods and the Crips and to call a truce between the LAPD, the Bloods and the Crips. And that happened in 2016. Okay. And once that occurred, that went viral all over the internet, television cameras everywhere. And that is where my first big boom in social media took place, where a flurry of followers, Snoop posted me on his Twitter, on his Instagram, all this stuff. And that's where a large amount of followers came in. And that's how it started on the social media side. Okay. And from there, that's when I would post more. And I didn't start doing the heavy educational videos, I think, until late 2017, early 2018 on Instagram. I was doing it heavily on Facebook, but on Instagram, I just started doing these videos where people are like, oh yeah, 60 seconds, man, loving all the knowledge. I just started doing that, brother. That was recent, maybe in the last 2 years. That's how it happened, brother. And then since then, my work in the street has become more noticed on the social media side, but I had always been doing the work in the street.
Word. That's what's up. That's what's up. There's no such thing as out of nowhere. So let's talk a little bit about our brother Nipsey Hussle and that whole situation at Marathon. As people know, Nipsey Hussle died a very, very horrific death. Just being him. What do you know? What's your take on it? How do you feel? Speak to that for people who are hearing a lot of different things, because some people feel like he was assassinated. Other people feel like, oh, it was just, black on black crime. Right. That kind of thing. What about black on black crime?
Right. I can tell you this, brother. Our people are heavily emotional, and really our people have become drained, man. We're so used to, we're used to seeing death. We're used to that. We're used to hearing the sirens every day. We're used to hearing somebody else got shot. At least those of us in the hood, we're used to that. Right. That's a regular. But when it came to Nipsey, because of how known he was, it hit harder than the average brother in the hood. Like I said, it happens almost every day or every other day. Right. But when it happened to him, it was not only heavy, but it was confusing. It was very confusing because he had got out the hood, got the bag, brought the bag back to the hood, and then put the hood on and started representing the hood by revolutionizing the hood. Because he had never not repped it, but when he got back to the hood, he kept repping the hood, revolutionizing, building business, hiring brothers and sisters in the hood, his own family, the people. So everybody was eating around him. Everybody was eating. He was making sure everybody was eating. And so for him to all of a sudden get taken out, it was confusing, brother. It was very confusing. And when I was there on the scene and I arrived and I saw, it didn't make sense how it happened. All right. And of course, when people call you a conspiracy theorist, they don't realize that term was created to demonize the people who questioned the assassination of John F. Kennedy. That is where that term stemmed from for those who question it, even though there were many questions. But Nipsey was doing so much work to where it's like, okay, we understand that there could be enemies because he was promoting cryptocurrency. Okay, so you got the Federal Reserve that's on your back. That might be in dislike of that. He was talking about doing the documentary on Dr. Sebi. Okay, you got the pharmaceuticals who might not be too interested in that. So there are different things. And then, of course, there's always envy and jealousy of somebody. You'll never please every single person in your family or the hood. It's always somebody who will be envious or jealous of what you do and you want to shine. There's always somebody, but it didn't add up to me. And now the every day something new is coming out to show just how much it doesn't add up. So to me, as it pertains to a black man being murdered in America, I always go back to the enemy first, because we don't have any gun manufacturers, black folks. Okay, that's the first thing. So these gun manufacturers happen to be European for the majority, or some might be Chinese, but who brings the guns in? Okay, so that's number one. That means it is a conspiracy, meaning it's between two or more parties coming together to do something that is evil and wicked. Okay, the U.S. government brought guns into Compton through the train system, brought guns into Watts through the train system. They would drop these guns off in boxes, in alleys. Okay, so they brought them in. After they would bring drugs in, so they'd have us on drugs, and they brought guns. When people would just find these guns, and so you gave us guns and drugs. And what would that do to a person in a neighborhood like this? So we just start taking out our pain on one another. So I'm just saying, I always go back to the origin first. I don't give this enemy no damn slack when it comes to the truth. Then from there, I go into, okay, who was envious and who was jealous? Or could it have been a rival gang member, an enemy from another hood? And when it came out that no, it was somebody from his own hood, from his own neighborhood. Okay. That also communicates, okay, a level of envy and jealousy. Then it comes out that this individual actually was a snitch, meaning he had worked with the police before. Okay, so which also lets me know, okay, that is where I go to the informant or the agent implant within the hood. As the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said, every gang has agents in it. Every gang. And because of that, it's no surprise. So that's where I ultimately go, brother, is that, yes, this government has something to do with it, because as of right now, it still doesn't add up. They took him in so soft, like they did with Darren Wilson. Brother, they took him in soft, brother. So you, an armed black man, a suspect of a murder, is on the loose with a gun. and you take this man in like he's a puppy. Just it's okay here. Just put the handcuffs on, and I almost was waiting for them to get him a burger. Seriously,
Right.
I was if it like they did with Dylan Stormer. Waiting. Is that what they're gonna do? And then you let the driver go. The girl who drove the vehicle, you let her go. When does a driver for a suspected murder, being a black person in America, get let go and can go free? I've never, brother, no. no. So I will say I do call conspiracy, which means that it's a fact that there is two or more parties, groups, organizations, people, etc., coming together to do something that is wicked. That's what is going on here. There's more than just this individual. More. Right. Something else, and so yes, sir. That's what I believe, brother. That there's more to it than just some black on black crime. No, sir.
Absolutely. So you are in LA. How do people recover from this blow? How do we move forward in a positive light? Because it seems, and there are people who would say that anytime one of us becomes an activist, when any of us tries to do some good, we're struck down. It's the Black Wall Street argument. Yeah, we have Black Wall Street, had all these businesses, and white people gonna come and tear it down. They shot Malcolm, they shot Reagan, they shot Martin. Brother Islam need to be careful. They're gonna get Farrakhan, but Farrakhan, say really worried about Farrakhan.
Man, I'm telling you, listen, funny thing is, I'll say this. Number one, the answer is continue doing the work. That's first thing. Keep doing the work. As a matter of fact, we need to increase the work. What Nipsey was doing. What was he saying? Buy up the land. Okay, not only do you buy up the land, you own your masters. If you're an artist, get your masters back. Okay, cool. Then you go ahead and you hire the people who are in the hood who can, you can work with them, make sure they get qualified, help them out, and then put them on, get them a job. Why? Because economic empowerment changes criminal activity. Period. Economic empowerment diminishes criminal activity. If you give a person a legal way to make this bread, and it's a decent living wage to where they can take care of their child, they can take care of their wife or the mother of their children, their family, their grandmother, etc., they don't need to go to the street in that way. So that's another thing. That's why I was saying, put your people on, put them on. And he said in his song, I believe, Dedication, he said, I'm not working for no white cracker. That's what he said. All right. That's what he said. So it's like, okay, all right, I get you, Nip. So he was telling the people what to do. Get cryptocurrency, eat healthy, buy up the land, establish a business, get legal, own your stuff, hire your people, take care of the children. These are all the basic tenets that all of our leaders, all of our ancestors, and all of our elders have been teaching for a very long time. He just happened to be one of the brothers in the hood who carried it out, and he was unapologetic about it. So keep the work going. Look at his example and duplicate what it is that he was doing and build upon it. 3, unite, period. That means the Bloods got to come together with the Crips. The sisters got to come together with the brothers. We got to come together. The conscious community, those who are the intellectuals and religious leaders, etc., have to come together with the hoods, with the Bloods and the Crips. We got to pull it all together, because he didn't just stand for the 60s. He loved the 60s. That's the hood that he was from. He always claimed it, and he repped the 60s. He said, however, the Bloods and the Crips, we family. He said, matter of fact, my Mexican Cholo brothers, we family. So he brought to not only the Bloods and the Crips, but he brought together the Bloods, Crips, the Black, and the Brown. So he pushed unity. So we need to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Now, with the Black and Brown Coalition, there are those who would say that when we're constantly the people, as Black people, the ones who are always advocating for everybody else, but in their groups, they're not necessarily advocating for us. How do we go and like Malcolm even said, you can't go and fix somebody else's house if your house is dirty. So
that's right.
Is it more important to hold on to the so-called Black and Brown Coalition before we get our stuff together?
Oh, no. It's self and kind first. So you have to come together, build your own everything, at least establish a solid foundation and a stable foundation to where we got things moving constantly. We got these businesses, we got our land, we got our real estate, we have our banks, we got our community centers, we have our schools, we have our grocery stores, transportation system. Okay, good. Yeah, we have a nice nation built. Okay, then we can go ahead and unite and do business and commerce and trade and unity with our brown brothers and sisters, and do more things over there, et cetera, because we can now stand on our own 2 feet. So yes, we need to do that for ourselves first. And while we are building, we can, unite in our efforts to bring peace, while we're building our own everything, because it shouldn't be any bad blood between the black and the brown.
Right.
You see, while we're building, we can still acknowledge, peace to my brothers and sisters, my brown brothers and sisters, appreciate y'all, do y'all thing. Are we working on our stuff over here right now? If y'all want to help, feel free, but we doing our thing. We can't jump out of our movement entirely to build up yours entirely, but we can show you love, and support, and you show us love and support in us building our own. And then when we get solid enough, we can jump and help you, because we'll have enough stability and enough of our own to where if we step out, it won't crumble. You see? So definitely, brother, we definitely need to focus on our own first, especially right now.
You are very prominent in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and what you have this duality about you. You know what I'm saying? There are times where I see you and I can see you like in my head being somebody who has no problem with a final call in one hand and a bean pie in the other. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, you down look like you're just about to go work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you balance that? How do you balance those images versus what everybody expects you to be versus what you actually, are? How do you balance that?
Oh yeah, I can tell you, brother. The funny thing is, as an FOI, as a fruit of Islam military soldier in the Nation of Islam, we have that balance. It's just, it's not seen, or really it's not promoted. We don't care too much to promote that, because the enemy constantly is watching. And so they always have to see, or should I say for the majority, they must see that militant side, because the enemy constantly goes off of image. And if they can use an image that looks as though, oh yeah, this is our way to get in to destroy the nation, or get in to destroy this group, or to get in to destroy this group, they'll try to use that. So we don't promote this dressed down, relaxed type of look too much, but we all have it. We all do. We all go work out. We have families, we have businesses, brother. We real men out here, but for me, for real, I'm just serious, because some people are like, man, y'all just fell from heaven, and y'all just, I'm like, man, what the hell what? Like, brother, we done came from gangs, from the pen. We like, come on, we brothers, we black men. You see, we're striving to be right. That's the difference. We are striving. We heard the truth, and we're striving to live on that and do our best to be righteous, man. It's hard as hell too. But the way that I keep the balance is, I know who I am. I'm a black man first. Before any other titles that people can give, before religious title, before anything, I'm a black man from Compton. That's who I am. And I happen to be an original man, just like you. We are the original men of the planet, but I also understand that I'm a brother out here, and I have to relate to my people. So I have them understand, listen, I can dress down like this, just like you dress down, but understand that bow tie represents service. It represents servitude. It represents a mission. It represents that I am doing for you. I'm not doing this for myself. Brother Rizza don't represent Brother Rizza. Brother Rizza represents Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all of our ancestors, all of the leaders that we have, from Marcus Garvey all the way down. You can name them all. We represent one another, you see. And for me, brother, I maintain the balance by understanding that, I'm a black man, and I'm here for my family, and I can walk somewhere looking like this. But 9 times out of 10, I'm suited 9 times out of 10, because that is the kryptonite to this enemy. That is another thing. When they see us suited, brother, they know what that means. It means far more than just, oh, this is another dude wearing a suit. Nah, it's a whole nother feel when you see some FOI, some brothers from the nation in a suit and bow tie. It's a symbol of something. Like, don't F with them. You get it.
Real right.
One, if you're a black man, if you're a black woman or people, you feel safe. First off, you're like, okay, cool, ain't nothing gonna go down around here. We got the brothers. That's one. And two, if the police drive by, they drive by real quick, or they'll wave. Yeah, damn right, you better wave. Okay, because you don't mess with this. We doing good over here. Our people peaceful. We doing right. Leave us alone. You see, so I maintain the balance just because I know I'm a black man. I ain't got a trip. I'm family, but at the same time, I'm a soldier too. Don't ever get it twisted. I'm a soldier. I smile. Hey, we cool, but don't twist. Don't F up. You're gonna get effed up, rightfully. In a righteous manner. So Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's all good, man. Just maintain the balance, and everyone needs balance. Minister Farrakhan, he laughs, he jokes, he plays the violin, he sings.
Yeah.
You know, we're people. You know, but because of our persona sometimes, which is mainly for the enemy, just so you know.
Right.
Okay, so they know, do not mess with our people, because we love our people, but we secure and we will protect them with our life. So we maintain that soldier persona, because that's really who we are, you know, as disciplined men and women striving righteous by nature. And also we dress down at times just so we can relate more to our people, because we don't want our people to be afraid of us. I mean, we family. Right. We don't want you to be afraid of us, but also we want you to understand that you need discipline. We need discipline so that this enemy don't mess with us, so that we can be taken seriously as a people. Because some people don't take us seriously. Right. You know, until you put on a suit and tie, and then they're like, "Oh, you're civilized." Oh, okay. And it's like, so yeah, there's many different reasons, brother.
What is the greatest piece of advice you got from Mr. Farrakhan?
Oh man, woo!
Only ask good questions, bro.
Man, brother, I'm hearing. Oh, brother, he told me one of the most beautiful things he ever said to me was, he said, he looked right into my soul, brother. And he said, you have so much love for your people. He said, you have so much love for your people to where sometimes it hurts you to see that they're not moving as fast as they could be moving. And he asked me, he said, am I correct, brother? I said, yes, sir. He said, but you have to be patient with them, and you have to love them more than they hate themselves. I said, man. Boy, and I started crying. I said, oh, man, because I see the self-hatred. I see what we go through. But he said, don't let their hatred that was put in us knock you off of helping your people. He said, brother, you have to have love at the forefront of everything you do for your people. And he said, and I see that. He said, you've been doing this for most of your life, brother. He said, you have love. He said, just increase in your patience with them, because they will come around, brother. He said, it has been spoken by God that we are to rise again, and it's inevitable. He said, we will rise again, brother, and we will never fall again. He says, so be patient with them and love them. Just love them. I was like, man, and brother, ever since then, I'm telling you, that was less than 6 months ago. That was recent.
Wow.
Brother, at his table, and he looked right at me, brother. He knew what I was feeling. He said, I know how frustrating it is. And you know how frustrating it is, brother.
Every day, bro. Every day.
We all deal with this. And
yeah.
I was like, so he said, brother, you have so much love for your people. He was like, and he looked at me like, oh man, you're such a young brother. Because he's been doing this for over 60 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, if I'm feeling this, I know you've been felt this.
Gotta be feeling this. Right.
So that was the greatest advice, brother, which was, be patient with the growth of your people and love them more than they hate themselves, because we are inevitably going to rise. That was the greatest advice I ever got from him.
Bro, like, this is everything I thought it would be.
Appreciate you, my brother.
It's one of the best shows I've ever had, and I've had everybody on this show. But this is the conversation I really wanted to have, because black man to black man, black entrepreneur to black entrepreneur, activist to activist. It is nice to see that somebody out here is unabashedly proud of his position, and is proud to keep loving our people when the world is using homogenized images, and they got sound likes,
right?
But they got different meanings. Fourth grade English, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down. So it's an honor to have had you, man, and I hope that you enjoyed this experience. Where can people find you? How can they get involved? Closing words, thoughts, anything like that?
Yes, sir. Well, first off, brother, once again, I'm honored to be on this show. And again, thank you for all that you do, because these are the type of things that have to be seen, duplicated, and acted upon, which is black men uniting, coming together. No envy, no jealousy, no ego, but simply unity for us and our people. Real simple, brother. So this display right here just demonstrates a level of character, within my brother Dave Anderson and within myself, God willing, because this is something that if we do more of, we will see less of these issues occurring in the world today. So you can find me everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is under Rizza Islam, Rizza, last name Islam, like the religion. If you would like to book me for speaking engagements, go to RizzaIslam.com and click book Rizza. My assistant replies within usually 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm always honored to serve, whether if it's going to speak at juvenile halls, whether it's going to work with brothers and sisters creating programs in the hood, wherever, okay, colleges and everything. I'm more interested in being in the neighborhoods where the problems are directly. However, I know schools need to hear wisdom or knowledge or guidance. So wherever, brother, whether it's local, national, or international, I'm definitely there. Wherever my people are, that's where I need to be.
Want more exclusive content and business development advice? Log on to facebook.com/thebusinessbully.